Hello, Wick Team video. Today we're going to take a look at some gameplay here with Xerneas in the Master League. Xerneas in the lead here is especially interesting as this Pokemon has only 2 nuke moves. It also has now access to Tackle, which got buffed this season, which makes this way better. And we can take a look at this Pokemon here right now. We're gonna get the shield here again, and this is something that you're going to see a lot of times, I would guess, at least in the video. I haven't looked at any gameplay so far. I haven't looked on how the gameplay got edited, like I got edited like this here, so I'm just going to take it like this. As we see the opponent being able to destroy the Xerneas, they are going to get basically the shield back here as well, which is fine, but you're going to get a ton of energy. Mamoswine is amazing with energy. There's not a lot of Pokemon that want to come in against Mamoswine with energy. Basically, I feel like only something like the maybe Melmetal, even though you still have the boulders, which hurts, it's not the best move. Or like I guess something like Kyogre wants to come in against you, but definitely not this Garchomp, which is still lurking in the back there. It was only a Sand Tomb that was way too fast, which is amazing for you as you can still go for one more Iron Head. This will get them low enough that you can farm them down. You don't even have to shield this one, and you will be able to take this Sand Tomb still, which allows you to farm them all the way down. We see the Swampert coming back in. They cannot farm you down. You let this move go through, and you should still be able to reach another move with your Mamoswine in time. They should be out of energy right now. You wouldn't CMP against any kind of Swampert here anyway, as well as this Avalanche is coming through here. This will knock out the opponent, and there's going to be a good game here. Next opponent, let's see what's coming up next. We're going to see that they Clalmor. Oh, it's a crazy edits here as well. Maybe I should also start doing that. I actually could if I wanted to, but I don't know. We see the next opponent here with one Excadrill. Excadrill is a very decent lead for you, especially here as they go straight for the move. It's a little bit tricky if they overfarm a lot, but like it's this point of time, you can just shield once, I guess, and you should be able to get 2 shields back from the opponent, unless they're going to swap out here, which they don't seem to do. We will see one close combat coming through that's going to get the shield, and another close combat should be able to get also another shield here, hopefully. Exactly. I guess it's not worth it to keep this Xerneas long around. You're going to take the shield advantage here and go into your Mamoswine, which can take one move, but it's a little bit awkward here again as well. They might be even able to get to 2 moves here, which might force you to shield, but they're actually going to swap onto the Zacian here, which is okay for you. Zacian should be a 2-shot after the fast move damage. I think it's just barely not. And I think that's going to be a CMP tie, which is even worse for you, and you have to shield this move up. It's going to be a tough one to win. You're going to undercharge it, which is actually really good to undercharge, because like the opponent was already debuffed. I was like, why did he undercharge so much? But because of the debuff, that was basically a perfect undercharge. The opponent goes for one Rock Slide. Never go for a Rock Slide against a Mamoswine if you're the opponent. And this time it didn't matter, and you will be able to actually win this game with a Dracometeor. But Rock Slide, even though you're an Ice type, you're still a Ground type with the Mamoswine. So the Draw Run is neutral, Rock Slide is neutral, Draw Run does more damage and is Stab. So next opponent, we will see here the Dragonite against you. Very good lead for you. There's nothing that a Dragonite can do against you. This is a very clear matchup for you, unless they're going to run the Hurricane, which this should not be. I think that was too fast. It's going to be the Dragon Claw, and I don't know where the opponent stays in here, but it doesn't really matter for you anyway. Like, your entire team wins against Dragonite. There is no bad matchup for you. I guess Dialga is the kind of worst matchup here for you, actually, because Dialga would lose, I think, the 1 in the 0 shield scenario, but not the 2 shield scenario, because of Superpower being very strong right now. But you will be able to get a shield here, and you swap into your Dialga now. This is actually an interesting play. I kind of like it, I kind of don't like it. It's kind of mid here. Like, I don't know, it can work out. You're gonna get the shield here, but it's a little bit risky. It's a little bit risky to rely now basically on your Mamoswine. If they're going to have a Kyogre in the back, you're completely screwed. But if it's not a Kyogre in the back, you should be fine, as you can shield this move up, farm them all the way down, and you have low battery, which is even better. And you will be able to farm them actually all the way down. Have 100 energy here, and we see a Hydreigon in the back. It was a little bit of a riskier play, to be fair. I think I would have stayed in with the Xerneas here. Actually, going to go ahead and farm down the Xerneas just to showcase here a little bit. I see. But I think I would have stayed in with the Xerneas and then aligned my... What are you doing? Oh, okay. I guess it's just flexing again. Or it was just like... but I would have actually stayed in there a little bit with my Xerneas and just let it farm down, because it didn't have as much health anymore. And if they had a water type in the back, you would have been a little bit screwed there. So I would have just stayed in there, let my Xerneas go down. Even if they get the energy, you still will be able to knock them out easily with your Mamoswine. So That's how I would have played it. It did work out, so it doesn't really matter too much, but maybe just a thought process there. As we see a Garchomp against you, you will be able to get one shield, which is nice, and you still see another Phantom coming in, which still allows you to go for one in close combat here, which would knock out the opponent most likely, but they're gonna get the final shield as well. 2 shields up, again, it just takes every shield right now. It's crazy, there's not a lot that really can take any move of this Pokemon. Basically only Metagross, I think, which would be kind of an awkward Pokemon to face with the team, and Metagross is pretty common, so interesting how you're going to handle Metagross with this team here. We will see the shield coming up against the Groudon. Overfarmed a little bit too much, but it's not really too bad there either, because this, I don't think this knocked them out. Yeah, it doesn't knock them out anyway, and you can farm them all the way down. See what's in the bag. It's going to be another Dialga, and this is going to be a forfeit, as a 1 Draco Meteor would knock them out, and this was, I think, the 3rd game there then, where I think it was 3-0 so far. Next opponent, we will see here the Xerneas against Giratina. Sadly, we have a normal type fast move, and it's a little bit of an awkward matchup, so you're going to swap out here, which I like. Going into Dialga as you say swap, a little bit risky sometimes, I would say. I would actually prefer here the Mamoswine as a say swap, just because, exactly, for example, for Excadrill, you have just a little bit of a better matchup. Mamoswine with somehow Energy Elite has more charge move pressure because you get to the Avalanche faster. Avalanche is a stronger move compared to Iron Head, so it might have been like a little bit better there, but it really depends. You're actually going to go into your Xerneas, which is interesting. You will be able to go ahead and let this draw run go through, and you can get at least an advantage here with your with the close combat. You can swap out immediately now as well, and you have the shield advantage. You have a decent matchup here, but Dialga going to be a toughie. Dialga in a 2-shield scenario, you're still going to be able to actually go straight for Avalanche if everything works out fine for you, and you would be able to win this in the 2-shield scenario, but like this, it's still going to be tough because you have to get some energy for the opponent's Giratina. And for whatever reason they let this move go through. I have no idea. They're going to go for the charge move here, which could boost them up with the Omnious Wind, but this is an interesting one from the opponent. Very good play, I guess, from you to go for the Bulldoze immediately. But we will see that the opponent now going to have a problem with this Mamoswine, and very nice that you can farm it down now with the Xerneas with the few HP that were left on this Pokemon. As we see the next opponent coming up here, finding one opponent here, as we see the Xerneas against the Giratina again. You're going to swap out again, most likely back into the Dialga. Again, you're going to get hardwalled by the Excadrill, so I think Mamoswine is a little bit better here, but just my opinion. You can still, of course, I don't know, maybe there's a reason why, like you could say it in the comment section, maybe there's a reason why you go into Dialga as a say swap. Excadrill in the back is pretty common, especially with a lot of teams nowadays. But we will see here the Dragonite coming through. You're going to play it differently this time around, which is interesting because last time it worked. So interesting that you're going to go ahead and go into your Mamoswine. Now you're going to lose 1 shield there. You can go for your charge move. This will knock out the opponent if they're going to let this move go through, and they will let this move go through, as we see the going for a Dialga again. That's the same team that you just faced, and you are low on battery, and your Mamoswine got farmed down, and you're going to lose now. That's kind of funny. Maybe charge your phone. You had 8%. That's kind of living a little bit risky, I guess. We see the next opponent coming up now, finding an opponent's battle starting. Usually I cut this out when they find an opponent, but I didn't want to watch the video prior, so I am more surprised about what's happening here. We see the Zacian coming in against the, like Zacian in general in the lead here against the Xerneas, 2 fairy types against each other. You will be able to win this in the 0 shields, I think, but you don't win this in any other shield scenario because you just don't have the spamminess of the opponent here, but you're actually going to be able to win this in the 0 shields, as I said, just because the opponent just decides to no shield for whatever reason. You can still go for one close combat here, which is, I think you tried to go for the other one, but you didn't know if you would get there. Now they can just farm you down though, but they don't farm you down for whatever reason. And you can just tank the Side Strike, go into your Dialga. You can farm this opponent's Mewtwo down, which is nice. Dialga is definitely the way to go here, as you can resist the Side Strike. You're going to let this move go through, which is a little bit risky. Maybe shield up this one, I don't know. You're going to let this move go through. That's kind of wild. And we see the opponent's Dialga coming in, one Draco Meteor going to hit them right into their face, and you will be able to reach 2 Bulldoze in time, which should knock out the opponent's Dialga. There's no reason for you to bait here. You should be fine, just going for 2 Bulldoze, and you should be able to outspeed the opponent as well still, I think. Bulldoze is coming through now. Do they shield this? Do they let this move go through? They're going to let this move go through, which makes it way easier for you as you can farm them all the way down here. Next opponent, battle starting. We see the Xerneas against a Giratina again. Let's see if it's the same team again. You're going to stay in this time around, which is interesting. 3 times different way to play this matchup, I guess. I think like the way I would go at least would be to go into Mamoswine as a safe swap. You will be able to go for 1 charge move here, which is nice. It's going to be the Moonblast. They're going to shield up, and you are now that with the Xerneas, which is fine though. You got the shield advantage, and they can farm you all the way down. Still think Mamoswine would be the way to go to swap into this Pokemon. You're going to go into the Dialga, you're going to shield up the potential Shadow Ball here, and you know you're going to be at equal shields. We see the opponent coming into a Mewtwo. One Iron Head is coming through right now, which is going to get the shield from the opponent, which is nice for you. The opponent definitely didn't have the shield there yet. But we see the Shadow Ball coming through, which doesn't knock you out. You keep your shield alive for the Mamoswine in the back, but now you can are forced to shield here because if you didn't shield there, it didn't really help you either. Like you would have been stuck in the matchup against Mamoswine, like with the Mamoswine against the Mewtwo, which wouldn't have helped you at all. But you are lucky here seeing a Landorus in the back here. Landorus without the legs will be able to go down with like 1 avalanche easily, and you will be able to survive any kind of move from the Giratina, so it's going to be a good game. Very fancy swap there between the battles again. Maybe I should also do those fancy ones. I don't know. Next time, maybe. We see the Dialga in the lead. This is kind of neutral. You get to the close combat before them. I think that's actually a positive matchup for you in any kind of scenario, actually, because you can take 1 Iron Head. Very nice that you didn't shield this one. And you can just go ahead and go for 2 close combats. I guess you lose this in the 2 shields now because they can farm you, but you wouldn't at least 2 shields here, which is even better. And you could actually swap out here if you want to, but you can actually just knock out the opponent, have a shield advantage, and just completely destroy that Dialga. While it's kind of nice. Here we will see a Melmetal coming in. This is tricky. You're going to let the first move go through, which is risky. It's going to be superpower, was kind of expectable because the opponent can swap out. So like I thought they would go for superpower, but of course it's always a 50-50. They stay in here, which doesn't make sense. So they're going to be weak against Dialga in the back. Usually Pokemon that are weak against Dialga in the back are also weak against the boy that you have in the back, what's called the Mamoswine in the back. You're going to let this move go through here. They are triple debuffed, and we see a Swampert coming in. That's interesting. That's not really that weak. I think what you have to do here is you have to go for 1 charge move. You have to catch the next charge move on your Xerneas. You're actually going to catch first, which is a smart decision here. Interesting that the opponent actually threw here because it was kind of expectable. But we see the Avalanche coming through now, which will get them low but not knock them out yet. You have to go for another one. And I think you could have went for 1 or 2 more fast moves. But you still should be able to survive 1 move from the Melmetal. 1 superpower shouldn't knock you out yet, at least. I think it doesn't. And you can go for 1 Bulldoze in time to knock out the opponent, which is a very nice here. Very good game there. Very close again. Like all those battles seems to be very, very close. In general, we see the final opponent here going to be Xerneas against Dialga. Again, we saw the matchup earlier already. You can go for the close combat after they went for their Iron Head. Just stay in here. This time around, the opponent takes a little bit longer to go for the Iron Head. And now they're going to go for it and just stay in here still, which is nice. Do they catch? They don't catch. They can go for the close combat now. Close combat coming through. You will be able to hit the next close combat as well, but sadly against the Giratina, this is not ideal. But you can go ahead and go into your Dialga. This is a matchup where you I think you can farm them all the way down now. I think they cannot get to 2 Shadow Balls. They're gonna go for the bait first, which is a little bit risky or like a little bit scary here, but they can go for another move. No, they cannot. You can just stay in here with your Dialga and go for 1 Oh, we see a Buzzwole coming in. That's actually interesting. And you would be able to go at least for 1 Draco Meteor here now, and they're going to shield this move up, which is really annoying. But you can still go for another one, which is really nice. This will be able to nearly knock out the opponent. You go into your Xerneas, you will be able to knock him out now. Can you still get to the close combat? We will never find out because they're going to throw. And this is going to be it for this game now, because the Mamoswine will be able to clean up this game pretty easily. they're going to even throw for whatever reason, but this next bulldoze will knock out the opponent. So thanks for sending in those battles, thanks for having those lag issues here as well, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Xerneas is definitely a cool Pokemon to get some shields early on as well. Usually I see them more as a closer, but also in the lead they seem to work. So see you in the next video, leave a like if you haven't already, and bye!